Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the channel. I've got my good friend Mark here, and we met over a year and a half ago or whatever, was it?
Yeah, when I first came to the Philippines, yeah.
If I remember right, you just kind of showed up at my house for dinner one day. You remember that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I was having a turkey dinner for Alan. He had come back from Australia, and all of a sudden he shows up with you.
Oh, well, there you go.
You guys have been drinking.
Oh, that's probably correct.
Yeah. So anyway, we're here at your lovely new house, and you just put in that pool behind you. And how long did it take you from the time you bought the house to get it the way you wanted?
Well, I bought it last October, and it was a bit of a rundown mess, to be honest. It was in, bad need of repair, repaint. So we repainted it, replumbed it, re-electriced. We did everything to the property. So we moved in New Year's Eve, and then just been working on it ever since. The pool took me about 3 months and a lot of hard work and everything, but now I'm pretty much done, so which is good. I can sort of sit back and enjoy the fruits of the hard work.
How much has your utilities gone up since you put in the pool?
Well, the pool's just been in a week, so I really don't know much. I mean, it's got a big filter and pump. It's a 1.5 horsepower pump, so it'll probably jump up, but because it's such a big pump, it cleans the water. I don't have to run it much, so maybe 1 or 2 hours a day.
Well, I know a lot of people in the Philippines, they don't run their pumps all day long or anything like in America.
You don't need
the pools, they just run them non-stop.
Yeah. So, but it's really good. I enjoy it. It's great. Just walk straight out the front, straight in there. It's got a bit of a deep end which comes up to about my nose, and then then there's the shallow end where I can sit on the edge of the pool with a stubby or whatever, and it's good.
So you're all in. I mean, you came to the Philippines, and when the first time you came here, had you, how long did it take you to decide, say, this is where I want to spend the rest of my life, this is where I want to live? Did you know right away, or did it take a while to settle in and figure out?
Well, I came, if you remember the last video, I said I came in '83.
Yeah.
So, and I spent a lot of time in Angeles, as a young fella, just partying. And then, that got in my blood. I came back and forward, worked, and then came back for 3 or 4 years, and then I left, and I didn't come back for like 35 years later.
Wow.
But it was always in my heart to come back. And once you've been and lived in the Philippines, and you get that passion for it, it's hard to get rid of. So I came back 35 years later, and then a friend of mine said to me, why don't you just retire early? So the pandemic sort of buggered that up. So I as soon as the pandemic was over and the Philippines was open, which was February the 10th, 2022, I was here 3 days later.
Wow.
And I haven't left. And I love it. It's great climate, the people are really good, the food's good. I can't really think of, they drive like maniacs, but but that's okay, you get used to it.
So no regrets. I mean, you got lots of friends, you got a beautiful house, you're in a nice relationship.
Too many friends, to be honest.
Too many friends, yeah.
Well, the thing is here, because you've got a lot of time on your hands and you're not working, you meet people all the time, and they're really nice people. Some you choose to spend a bit more time with, others you don't. So, but yeah, but I like spending just time here now. I've got a bit of an oasis here, so it's in the middle of the jungle. It's still, close proximity to Dumaguete.
You'd probably be in town, 20 minutes?
Oh, no, less than that. I can get to the airport. The airport's 8 kilometres away or something, so I can get there. The new diversion road, I can get there to the airport in 15 minutes.
That's right, that is a good road. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I'm right near the diversion road, so I'm really lucky. So I'm 4 minutes from the ocean, 5 minutes from Valencia. So I'm sort of in the middle there. So, and Darwin, there's the new airport road to Darwin, so, everything's close here.
Yeah, we're going to be getting a new airport eventually, I guess in Bacong. I don't know when it's going to happen, but they keep talking about it.
The Koreans are going to build that one.
Yeah.
And they build the road, they're just finishing the roads, and then it's going to go ahead, hopefully. A lot of people will say, one day, but I think it is going to go ahead.
So tell me a little bit about, I know we talked about it before the first time we interviewed, but your career, because you said at one time you spent a lot of time in Pakistan. Was it Pakistan?
Yeah, just when I was younger traveling.
Yeah.
But, my career ended sort of when I was doing health and safety. I was a health and safety expert. So I looked after, I promoted health and safety to small business owners around their legal obligations under the law, to sort of let them know about that, and to build safety systems for them so that they gathered evidence so they could prove if ever somebody got injured or killed at work that they did everything what we call reasonably practicable to make sure that that person was safe. And then I used to manage their injuries as well. Love the job. Still would love to do it now, but you know, remote work, even though a lot of people did remote work during COVID, it's not something now that's, you know, available here, or it's not something I'm chasing in here. I'm happy to just ride my motorcycles around and...
So basically it was Australian companies that you were...
Yeah. Well, I lived in Australia.
Well,
so.
when you travel around the world, 'cause you've been to a lot of places, you must see things that kind of make you cringe. That's when it comes to safety and...
Oh, well, what safety? I mean, it's interesting here, really. You know, where if there was any roadworks or line marking in Australia or America, no doubt, they would have a traffic management system up, and they'd have signs, you know, half a kilometre away and slow down, and just for guys to paint a few lines. Where here, they just go and paint the lines. People just drive around them. You know, people here, the risk management aspect of it is completely different to, you know, in developed countries or so-called developed countries. Here, they'll just drive around them. They take their time. They're cautious. I think from a safety perspective, the only main thing here is people not wearing helmets.
Oh, yeah.
And they die.
Yeah.
We see them splattered on the road all the time.
Yeah. Well, I see them like with the bicycle helmets on, which is bad enough, but they don't fasten it. It's just like they're complying with the law. If they get pulled over, I got a helmet, you know, and they let them go, but they haven't even fastened it, you know.
It's a shame, really, because I'm passionate about that. You know, your head is very special, right? You can break your arm or your legs, as you know, you had an accident recently, but
helmet saved
hitting
my
your head
life.
on the road, I'll tell you viewers right now, if you ever want to test it, get down on your haunches, get your head and just tap it on the road a little bit, see how it feels. So imagine hitting it like bang.
Yeah.
And we've seen lots of people, young people, you know, the brothers and uncles and sons and of people just smashed, their heads smashed into the road.
We had 8 killed just a couple of weeks ago, 8 people in one accident.
Yeah, and what amazes me more is the foreigners that come over here and they don't wear helmets and they think they're just, and maybe that's something, because I think in America...
It's like they think the freedom, like, you know, Harley guys and stuff, that they, you know, they think I'm free, I can do what I want, and I see them too, driving with no helmet. I see them smoking a cigarette, driving a motorbike, you know, just free as a bird, and all it takes is one dog come in front or one rock on the road, one person, you know, stopping suddenly, and you're dead. And I know a guy, I'm not going to mention his name or anything, there's a guy here that had an accident not too long ago, had a helmet on and everything, but it damaged his brain. He can't talk. He still can't talk. Months later, he's like, he can't even tell people, like, you know, the passcode for his phone or things like that, and it's sad. Yeah. You know, and he had a helmet on.
We had a friend in Sigihor who, they were bar hopping, so they're out, had a few drinks, and he was going from one bar to another bar. It was only 300 metres down the road. He put his helmet on but didn't fasten it. And a girl in a tricycle, he was coming along, and a girl in a tricycle just did a U-turn straight in front of him, bang, dead. The boys got to him and his brain was splattered on the ground. And then another guy who was a multi-millionaire, a young Italian guy, I think, or European, and he was in Sigihor again, no helmet, hit his head, was bleeding, everything. They tried to put him on the ferry to take him over to Dumageddon to the hospital. The ferry operators wouldn't have him on there. It was too risky. They didn't want him dying on their ferry. So he died. He's only a young guy. So helmet safety, to me, you're an absolute idiot if you don't wear a helmet, right? I know in some states in America there's no helmet laws.
That's true.
But again, and maybe that's why they don't wear it. But I see guys riding along here, or their helmet's on the handlebar like a Filipino. It's just...
I see them riding in there too, like they'll have, not just foreigners, but Filipinos too, they'll have one hand on the handlebar, the other hand, they're holding their cell phone.
Oh, they're talking on the cell, they're texting.
Or texting, you know, while they're on a motorbike.
Yeah, but look, it's different here. The whole lifestyle, it's so laid back.
Yeah.
Right, the people are laid back, they're non-aggressive, they're really, really calm, and that's reflected in the way they drive. And I think, you know, there's a famous saying that you can tell a nation's character by the way its peoples drive.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
Yeah, you can tell a nation's character. So, you know, it's laid back. They don't really, you know, they're not...
They're not aggressive. They're not like, you know, road rage here. You don't see road rage.
And you know, the beauty with living in the Philippines is you're dealing with one race of people.
Yeah.
The Filipinos.
This is true.
And you know, 95% of them are really good. They don't get aggressive.
No.
They're really lovely people.
I've had some near misses with people. Sometimes it was my fault. Sometimes it was theirs.
Yeah.
And you just look at each other because you eye contact. You're on a bike. And just go, you know, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
And they go, sorry, it's okay. And there's no swearing, like, they just let it go.
Well, it's not like road rage. You know, people in the States or in Australia would go, I'd say to, you know, my friend, I said, they'd go mental, they'd probably attack you.
Yeah.
So, but here, and that's one thing I've learned, you know, when I got here first and I was riding around, I used to ride around like you know, quickly and go here and go there, and now it's just keep calm. You can cruise along at 40 if you want. You get out on the open roads, you can do 80 or 100 or whatever you want, but it's be like a Filipinos, just chill out.
Yeah, if somebody passes you, I don't care. If an old lady goes by me on a 125, I don't care. Where in America, it's like someone passes you, well, I'm going to pass them, you know, and you end up having like this race, and that's how you get killed.
Well, yeah, and you've got so many obstacles here. You know, you can't predict, you know, that a car coming out, a tricycle doing a U-turn, a dog, especially at night time. At night time, it's just treacherous. It is absolutely treacherous to ride, you know, down to Darwin or, you know, the diversion road, because majority of the bike riders don't have a rear tail light.
Yeah, that's true.
They just don't. And why they don't have a rear tail light, it took me ages to find out that it's because they don't have a battery in their bike. So they don't have a horn, they don't have an electric start, and they don't have a rear tail light.
A lot of them don't have mirrors
And
either.
you've got to look for a shadow.
Yeah.
So you've got to go really slowly, and suddenly you'll come up across somebody, or the tricycle drivers, which is
and they're going really
another
slow
thing.
too.
So it's absolutely treacherous at night time to drive here.
It's so nice at night, though. I mean, as
beautiful
far as the
and cool.
experience, you know, it's just because there's no traffic and go along and stuff. You're careful. I enjoy being out at night, but I know what you mean. Though you got to just be
We
so
use the
careful.
car now. I bought a car after a while.
What kind of cars you buy?
Just a little Suzuki wagon.
Okay.
But it's really nice. It's a little turbocharged 1000cc.
You buy it
It's
new
like-
or is it used?
No,
or?
secondhand. Yeah.
Okay.
Bought it off an American guy, and it's a pocket rocket. It's absolutely it's really quick. So it's good fun, but it's economical. It's good enough, you know. So I can the seats fold down at the back, so I could, you know, when I moved house, I put a you know, my oven in there. I put my water cooler in there. I loaded it up, so it's good. It's good to have a car here. I don't understand why the people have the big yank tanks.
Yeah.
You know, these big bloody four-wheel drives. Maybe it's
You know, Toyota Land Cruisers, you see them. you see
I
the
just
big
can't
Ford
figure it out
trucks.
because the traffic and the parking spots are just not there.
Yeah.
But each to their own, you know. Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be getting a car soon too. Probably when I get back from America.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's if you live here, having a motorcycle restricts you sometimes, you know, especially in the rainy season.
Yeah.
And the roads can be quite treacherous, so, you know, going out at night time is another thing. But, you know, with cars as well, I had to change the headlight globes on that and put really bright LED headlights on it, because a lot of the cars drive around here with sort of that yellowish
Yeah, I noticed
hue
that,
on
yeah.
that,
Yeah, I can
and
barely
you
see
can't
it.
see anything. And you need to be able to see things on the road. Those motorbikes that don't have a tail lights primarily, dogs,
So, what are you doing for health insurance? Have you got
no, zero.
just good self-insuring then? Yeah.
I got no health insurance,
Yeah.
so I mean I can get Phil Health as part of my retiree visa.
Yeah, I got Phil Health.
Yeah, I haven't got around to it yet. I've been so busy doing
They're
this.
very easy. I was surprised how quickly it happened. It's real simple to do. You can pay for a whole year in one go, and it's a few $100, you know, for a year. And plus,
Yeah, and that-
it covers
that-
my wife too.
Yeah. Well, that it'll probably give me a discount. It won't, you know, hopefully touch wood.
Yeah.
That I'm
well, it
not
gets you in
gonna,
the hospital if you have to go in. Like, if you don't have a credit card or cash with you, and you're by yourself, you got that card, it'll get you admitted.
Yeah.
That's a good thing
On my
about it.
to-do list, Mark.
And so, are you say you're going to plan on going to Bali soon, huh?
Yeah, we'll do a bit of a trip out of the country. I don't particularly want to leave
Yeah.
the Philippines. I
either.
love it. I haven't been home. I don't even think about home. I mean, having lived there all my life, and I've travelled a fair few places, but having lived there, and, you know, especially through COVID, you know, there's a lot of time to reflect, because there was a lot of time spent by yourself there. You know, I'm just happy to be here. I don't really want to go anywhere, but I am going to do a quick trip over to Bali and, you know, 6 days and then come back. So
Well, there's a lot of Australians here. I think there's actually more Australians retired in the Philippines than Americans.
Nah.
Would you say? You don't think so?
the
No?
most retired race is Chinese.
Oh, really?
Then the Americans.
Well, we don't have the Chinese here. I never see them.
Yeah, but there are a lot of them, because they're all running businesses. They don't socialise much.
Okay.
And then the Americans.
Yeah.
And then the British. And then the Australians.
Okay.
And that. So, but there are a lot of Australians everywhere. So friendly people we are.
So you're here to stay. So you've got you kind of pared down your motorcycle collection, because last time I saw you, you had like 8 or 9 bikes.
No,
What's
I
the
think,
most
I think
you ever
on my
had?
first video I had, let me check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 bikes.
Yeah.
You know, in the Philippines, you can't go and test ride a motorcycle.
Right.
So the only way, if you like a bike and you want to buy it, you've got to go and buy it. So I've learned a lot, and I've tried a lot of bikes. And then I've realised for my riding style, and, you know, if I want to have 2 people on the bike and, you know, go away and go on a long ride, I need storage. I need safety. I need, you know, capability to carry my weight, and, you know, anybody I have on the back, I need to carry their weight as well, plus all the luggage. So I've got down to 4 bikes now, which is probably 3 too many.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love my bikes, and that's me, that's my passion. And, you know, I've got a motorbike that gives me that real experience of riding a motorbike with, you know, 6-speed gears and things like that. Then I've got a couple of scooters and then another one. But yeah, I've worked out roughly where I'm at now.
But the black one's the one that you like the best, right? Isn't that the one that we took the trip
Yeah,
on?
I've got a 300 X-Max.
Yeah.
That's what we travel on. So I travelled from here, Dumaguete to Boracay. So you've done that trip. I did it on a motorbike.
Oh, wow.
And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So I went, and I've got videos about this, and I went all the way up to San Carlos, and then across the top of Negros down to Bacolod, then across to Iloilo, and then all the way up the east coast of Iloilo up to Boracay.
Yeah, we did that, but we did it with cars.
Yeah.
We wrecked all 3 cars.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw that.
2 cars and a truck, wrecked them all.
Yeah. Oh,
Nothing
well.
serious, but wrecked them all.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any wreck, thank God. But no, that bike is great. It's great for touring around. It just gives you that confidence.
Yeah.
It's heavy compared to, say, you know, an NMAX 155, which is about 130 kilos. That's 180 kilos. So when you're putting it on the center stand, or when you're maneuvering in, you know, to park it, it's a bit heavy, but you just take your time. But on the road, it's just beautiful.
And so with, is it a pain, like checking the registration every year? You have to redo the registration?
Yeah, it can be a
At
bit-
the same
can be-
time or different times?
Yeah,
for
well, each
one?
bike's got different registration, right? So
wow.
I've got one bike now that it's due for registration this month. So I've got to go down and get what they call a smog test, or like a roadworthy safety test. So I'll get that, just pay the registration. But now all the bikes that they're selling have 3 years registration.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, so they bumped the price up of the bike, but they give you 3 years registration, which is a lot more practical.
Yeah.
So, you know, you buy a bike now, the only problem is you've got to wait 4 months for the plate number.
Yeah, I know guys waiting longer than that. They still don't have their plate. And
It
technically,
really
you're not supposed
sucks.
to be riding
You know,
it.
they're like 11 million behind.
Yeah.
And if you get pulled over by the highway patrol, it's a 5,000 peso fine, and they can confiscate your bike,
Even though they know
impound your bike.
because you bought it legally and did
Well,
everything
you
right.
bought it legally, but you know you don't have a plate number on it, so you, what they call an ORCR number.
I see some people with these things in the back says for registration.
Yeah. And I rode a bike around here for ages, but I was warned by the dealer, if you get caught by the highway patrol, this is what they can do. Generally, all the riding, I've probably done 20,000 kilometres in the last year of riding.
Yeah.
And I've never really been stopped by the highway patrol. And if I got stopped by anybody, the police or whatever, they're so polite, I can't believe it.
Yeah, they are. They're
Completely
very nice.
different to the videos I watch of
Yeah.
police in America and things like that. These guys wear uniforms, but it doesn't go to their head.
No.
They're so polite with foreigners. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you. Have you got this? I can't.
They look
praise-
for a reason not to arrest you or to give you a ticket.
Yeah, but I
you know,
can't
usually.
praise them enough. They're just fantastic.
Yeah.
They're so polite.
I agree.
You know, and they do a 4-year university degree, and then they've got a test at the end. And if they don't pass it, they don't become. So they're not. I've got a different perspective of police compared to police back home.
Me too. They're
Right?
totally different. And I've got a lot of my friends that are police. I've got friends here that are retired police from America.
Well, yeah,
you know,
our mutual friend
Yeah, my
Steve,
good
yeah,
friend
he's a
Steve.
great guy.
But yeah, they every interaction I've had with them, you know, I've met them socially because they've had parties out of my house because my landlord's wife's brother's, I think, a colonel in the police department. They've had parties at our house. They're just such nice guys. And I've been to these roadblocks before. There's been times where my registration was expired or my driver's license was expired. And they were nice to me. Like, yeah, sometimes I got a ticket, but it was a small fine. And they didn't, you know, give me a hard time about, well, sir, you know, I'm sorry, you have to pay 500 pesos. Okay, fine. And where do I go? You go down here and you pay your fine, you know. It's no big deal. But they're not mean to you. They're not, you know, it's just a whole different thing. You don't see, like, speed traps are trying to set people up and...
No, they don't. And I mean, because
That's not
maybe
true
they're-
though. In Iloilo, they were doing that though, because we were there.
Wow.
And there's like a speed trapper thing set up. Like our headlight was broken from the accident we had. We got pulled over and they tried to extort some money out of us, these guys. And then my friend was stuck in the right lane to go across the intersection. He wanted to go straight instead of turn right. It said right lane only. So right before he got to the intersection, he just drifted over into the left lane, and we went through the intersection. Well, they pulled him over, and they had us on the side of the road for 20 minutes going round and round. And they were trying to get a bride. He finally gave him 500 pesos and let him go, but it was basically, you know, a shakedown.
It happened to me in Cebu.
Oh, really?
We went there on the big bike, and I pull up to the intersection, and I want to turn left. Google Maps telling me turn left.
Yeah.
So I turn left, and I go up to the traffic, and then this traffic enforcer comes down, and he waved me over, and he says, "Oh, illegal turn, illegal turn."
Yeah.
So what do you mean illegal turn? So I went back to where the intersection was, and he said, "You can't turn left here." I said, "Where's the sign?" And he said, "Over there underneath the tree." I said, "Nobody can see that. You need a sign here."
Yeah.
Argue with him for 4 or 5 minutes. Lucky I can speak the language,
Yeah.
which is I recommend anybody to learn a bit of the language because it really breaks down the barriers.
Yeah.
It shows respect, etc. So anyhow, I talked to his boss. I said, "Have you had lunch yet?" He goes, "No." I said, to my friend, "Give him 200 pesos." So he gave him 200 pesos for lunch. "On your way, sir." And he'd let me go exactly the same place.
Yeah.
So look, it is, but you
Well,
know.
we don't have that in Dumaguete.
But
I've
you're
never
not going
seen
to
that
have
here.
you're not going to have police running around chasing you on motorbikes
No.
or chasing you in cars like
No.
you do overseas. So you can get away with things here that maybe we wouldn't get away with over there. But you know, generally it's pretty good. But the traffic is chaotic. People need to be careful. You've got to expect the unexpected here because you're riding along and people will just come straight out.
Yeah.
They don't look. They've got tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And you've got to give way. So I think it took me a long time to work out what are the rules here. And then I spoke to a couple of people, and one guy said, the rule is whoever's at the intersection first or whoever's there first, you give way to them.
That makes sense.
Right? Whoever's there. So if a
Yeah.
guy's here and he's going to turn in front of you,
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're going straight,
Yeah.
just let him turn
Yeah,
because
let him go.
you can get very frustrated, but it's no use waving your hands around or swearing or carrying on because they're going to do what they're going to do. If you hit a Filipino, right, you're in the wrong. Apparently, I don't know. I'm getting a dash cam on my bike, front and back cameras. I've got dash cams on my car.
Well, I don't know. I thought
recommend-
that was true too, but I had a guy because you know I do some work with the embassy, and if somebody gets injured that's American, they call me up and I go down to the hospital and make sure they're okay and see what we can do for them. But this guy was hit by a van, and it was the van's fault, and the van paid for everything, you know, and they didn't try and blame it on him. The police didn't try and blame it on him, and I know a couple other guys too that had accidents where it wasn't their fault. But what they did do is they said, look, you know, the guy that ran into you, and we know he caused the accident, he's got no money. You know, you want to just let it go. And a lot of times they try and sort things out right at the accident. If it's a minor thing, the cops will say, okay, you did 100 pesos damage or 5,000 pesos damage. We give them 5,000 and you can just sort out right there on the scene. No court, no nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just easier, you know.
That's what they do. A friend of mine went to Cebu recently, and he had a heap of people in his hire car, and he's driving along the hire car, and then he didn't realise, but he hit his mirror, hit an electric e-bike or an e-bike,
Yeah.
and made it veer off the road, and then hit an old woman. So he didn't know, but he's driving along, and then suddenly these two motorbikes come next to him and go, hit, run, driver, hit, run, driver. And then the police come and they escorted him back to the scene, and there's this old woman laying on the ground like she's been murdered.
Oh.
And he goes over there and he's looking at her, and she put her head up, and the husband's pushing her head back down to, come on, play the scene. Anyhow, long story short, there was a heap of people around, and imagine you'd be feeling pretty nervous in a foreign country with, 60, 70 people around. Hit, run, driver, hit, run, driver. The police took his license, took the car keys. He had to go in the back of the ambulance with the person to the hospital. She got x-rayed, nothing wrong with her. They had to go to the police station then. They worked out, she wanted him to buy her. She told his girlfriend that they wanted him to buy her a Surrey store. Can you believe that? Right?
Jeez.
So it ended up and luckily his girlfriend's brother was a policeman, and he was travelling on the motorbike, so they were out as a family. So he came back, went to the police station. It came down to 5,000 pesos and an agreement signed at the police station. And then, they went their way. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, there's been some horror stories. There's some real stories. The best thing is ride sensibly, drive sensibly, so you don't have an accident. But here, what I've learnt in the year and a half or whatever I've been here is you just got to be very careful. You can't, if you ride too fast, you're just elevating your risk of having an accident.
And drinking too is another thing. Like,
well, drinking, yeah. Look, you know, there's no booze buses or anything here where they're going to pull you over. The cops aren't going to pull you over.
No,
and
no
give you
breathalyzer.
a breath test, or in America the sobriety test or anything like that. There's no, they don't pretty much care. And the other thing, Mark, is 90% of the people here, they don't have a license.
No.
There's no registration. There's no insurance. There's no mirrors on their motorbikes. There's underage riders, probably 10, 11, 12-year-olds riding on the road. And, unless there's a police checkpoint, they don't care.
Yeah.
Right? I was up at Valencia Market, and the road up next to Valencia Market is a one-way now on Sunday. But people are riding around there, the police are there, making sure it's only people go one way. But people are riding past with no helmet, no registration, but they're not stopping them. So it's a different way of, different society. That laid-back lifestyle is people just, cruising. So,
One thing that bothers me the most is when they drive the wrong way in the right lane. They treat the right lane as if like you can go any way you want. So you're on the freeway. Here comes some guy in the opposite lane going the wrong way.
Well, what happens is a lot of these guys in these big pickup trucks, maybe it's their mentality. They think they're big and they're like a bully. And it's happened to me in the car. They'll come towards you just to overtake the traffic, and they won't move out of the way. They'll bully their way through.
Yeah, I see that.
Right? And it's just, and they're speeding. It's just like, oh my God. But yeah, this is part of driving or riding in the Philippines. It is quite dangerous. So you just need to be super cautious.
Yeah.
But I've loved every minute.
Yeah, me too. It's like it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Well, so can we see your bikes?
Sure. I'll have a look and see what we've got left.
Stop it right here. Okay, we're outside of Mark's house right now, and his motorcycle collection. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one down the end, that's my bike. But this is the one that you've taken the trip on. We went to, where did we go when we drove this one here?
We went to Molbo.
Molbo, that's right, yeah.
Mowal Bal or whatever.
Yeah.
Fantastic bike. It's a 300cc Yamaha, keyless.
Keyless.
Beautiful bike, lots of storage. Under the seat. The seat's huge. So, you can get lots of, it's really comfortable for a pillion. It's got that big box on the back. Great bike. It's got, a loud set of horns on it. And this is the best touring bike I got.
But so
I just didn't want all that crap in there.
okay. What's nice is you got the storage under the seat, which you don't have on like my motorcycle. I have no storage at all.
That's the difference between scooters and motorbikes. A lot of the scooters, they have storage for a helmet or shopping or whatever, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this one's, it's still got small wheels, and it's limited, to rough roads where you can go. It'll go on some rough roads, but overall in the Philippines, I found that this is probably it's hit the sweet spot for me about a bike, because I'm a big guy, and if I get a pillion passenger on the back and got luggage, clothes for 7 days, first aid kits and tire pressure gauges, etc., I find this has been really, really good for me. So it's got a phone holder, and when I went to Boracay from Dumaguete, this is the bike I took, and I loved it. It was just fantastic. It's really confidence inspiring as well. So then we move to this little one. So this is the runaround. It's a little scooter. It's called a Click. Now, Honda Clicks are very
that's a popular bike here,
in the Philippines, but this is the Honda Click 160. So this is a new one. Again, lots of under seat storage, and we've got the box on the back. So this is the duck into Dumaguete, do the shopping. You can put so much here. Also, I'll just show you. Here you can hang, this got a little hook here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my wife's got that on her bike.
Yeah, so you can hang a lot of things here, and it's really good because it's a step-through bike like that.
Yeah.
So here you have to throw your leg over. A traditional motorbike you have to throw your leg over, but this one sort of step through. So it goes okay. It's got small forks and things like that. So even though it's a new model, it's much better than the older one. But that's a little runaround. Would I go on a long trip on it? No. Simply. Some people would, but not me.
Yeah, that's why I need to get a scooter, because like
you've gotta
getting
have
your leg
something
over
that's
the seat.
fit for purpose.
Right.
So this is great around Dumageddon, short trips. Got the storage, shopping. You know, easy, nice and light. You know, it's very light. But you know, I wouldn't have it as an all-round bike.
Is this the one your girlfriend drives, or?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she drives it, or she drives all of them except for the last one.
Mm.
So, and then this is a very famous Filipino bike.
Mm.
So this is an XRM 125cc fuel injected. This is the brand new model. It's quite a rare colour. You can see I like white.
Mm.
You know, it's dual purpose. It looks clean and safety as well. But this is a go anywhere in the Philippines bike.
They're really popular. You see a lot of these, don't you?
These are so popular, and they go around. You can put, you know, we put this rack on so you can put stuff here. It's
pretty
a
much-
manual.
Yeah, oh, it is?
It's a manual, but it's no clutch.
Okay. So it's like speed shifting.
Yeah, so it's click down, 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 and then click back up. It's only a 4-speed,
Huh.
but it goes away, and it carries two of us quite comfortably. So if you want an all-purpose, all-round bike, economical, go anywhere, through the mud, rough roads, up a hill, this is the bike to buy if you come to the Philippines. I think I paid 76,000 pesos for it, brand
Wow.
new,
Wow.
right? This one's like 120,000 pesos. This is 76,000.
How about the big one?
The big one, well, I bought it second hand. I got a really good deal on it. So, you know, but around about second hand, about 200,000 pesos. So 4,000 US.
Not bad.
Pretty cheap. But again, you know, if that's going to be your only transport, you might want to think about
What's so nice about these XRMs, though, is they're everywhere here, so getting parts is easy. All the mechanics know how to work on them. And they're just everywhere. They're
And
ubiquitous.
the biggest thing, Mark,
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I found,
Yeah.
with the scooters, and if you just, if you come around here, you can see,
Mhm.
if you have to get that rear tyre off,
Yeah.
that rear wheel off, you've got to unbolt the exhaust,
Ooh.
unbolt the swing arm,
Ooh.
just to get that off. So if you get a puncture that requires like a proper tube prepared to get that off, not everywhere has a place that can do that, right? Where these things, it's traditional motorbike, you undo the back wheel, pull it out, you can change the tyre, easy, right? So very good bike in the Philippines, this one. That's what I found after I've had lots of different bikes.
I know I got a friend of mine from Australia. He's got 2 of these, and he swears by it.
Yeah, they're just a great little bike. I mean, excuse me, you do get blown around in the wind if you're out on the highway, but I remember a friend of ours, Ratty.
Yeah, Ratty. He had
said-
one. He had the orange
said
one.
The best way to see the Philippines, get one of these, ride around at 40 kilometres an hour so you can see everything. You're not going to miss much.
Yeah.
And you're safe, economical, super strong suspension. This one's got dual discs, so the brakes are good and easy, and like I said, get it repaired anyway.
Is this the new Honda Hunter? You know, have you seen that? They've got it in Australia. It's like a trail enduro type bike that came out. They're selling like hotcakes in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, they're really cool looking. I wonder if they're going to come in the Philippines. But I think it's the same model as the XRM, but it's turned into almost like an enduro dirt bike.
Wow.
They're really cool looking.
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't have inverted forks or anything like that, but it's just because it's got the bigger wheels,
Yeah.
right? The bigger wheels are a lot safer.
Yeah.
And you know, and because it's got spoked wheels as well,
Right.
that absorbs a lot of the impact. So rough roads, mud, anyway, just this will take. And look, you know, the distance here.
Yeah.
Where if you get mud under the front tire of that, you're
Right.
going to be stuck.
Right.
If you get mud under here, look at the difference. It's like
Yeah.
a trail bike front end, right?
Yeah, it is.
Right, but really, we put these hand guards on. They're aluminium, so it protects it if it falls over or whatever. But I was super impressed for a little 125. Super impressed. And sometimes on forums, people say, "What's the best bike for the Philippines?" and or, "What's the best bike from a girlfriend?" or whatever. And this one, because it's low, you know, you can low to the ground. A lot of Filipinos are short, so they can't. So they're on tippy toe. I'd say this is number one, and they can learn to ride a manual without the clutch.
Yeah. Now, did you buy this one new?
Yeah, brand new, second hand, brand new, this one. So, again, when you're buying brand new, you've got to wait 3 or 4 months. It's a real pain in the butt. You've got to wait 3 or 4 months for the plate, and that can be frustrating a bit. So we don't use this one a lot yet. This one's already got the plate. Some dealers, you'll get the plate after 2 months. Some dealers take 3 or 4 months.
They can't tell what the number is. I know at Rusi they'll make you a plate, but you can't get the number and make your own plate.
You need the number, and then you need an authorization letter to say that I'm having a not the real plate, and then you've got to carry that around.
Oh gosh.
I mean, again, you know, that law thing.
That's the
it depends
Philippines,
if you can
yeah.
Stop. At a checkpoint, just stop. Everybody
Yeah.
stops. But it's uncomfortable, you know, because they can impound your bike.
Yeah.
But, and then this is my little pocket rocket.
Hmm.
This is one of the famous bikes in the Philippines. I had a Raider in the last video, and this is a Sniper. I've still got this one. Beautiful little 6-speed. They race these in the Asian Championships.
Really?
These things called a Sniper. This is a 60th anniversary limited edition color scheme, like the you can see
Yeah.
here Yamaha, but they race them in the Asian Championships. They're really well set up. They must change the ECU or whatever, but I love this bike. It's really good. That gives me the feel of having a real motorbike rather than a scooter.
That's got a clutch? Yeah.
6-speed,
Wow.
fast. So if you want to go fast, but again, you go fast in the Philippines,
Yeah.
your eyes are going to be this big
Right.
watching for everything that's going on. So, but that's my collection now. So I'm happy with that. I've kept the big bike to go travelling with. So if we go anywhere, I'm going to travel to Mindanao. Next time, I want to go to a few other places, maybe up to Luzon or Manila, up that way. This one. The only problem is I think you need 400cc to go on the expressways.
I heard that, but I heard they don't enforce that.
They don't enforce a lot of
Yeah.
things, but they see this as a big bike. They maybe do. You can always plead ignorance.
Well,
but
so are you done collecting bikes now? You think you got your eye on something else, or?
I did look at a couple of bikes that I wanted to buy, but the majority of the riding now I do is two up
Yeah.
people, and it's a weight factor, it's a storage factor, it's a comfort factor. So I could buy bikes all day long if I wanted to, but now I'm sort of happy with these.
Yeah.
I'm sort of going to concentrate, finish my house and I'm buying another Suzuki sort of 4-wheel drive van that can go anywhere, carry anything. So that's my next project. But I've learned a lot in that time. So yeah.
Well, very nice. Thanks for showing us those. Beautiful.
You're welcome.
All right.
Are you getting the house on?
It's a little bit. Okay.
Pretty quiet.
Yeah. It's very Western though, the style. It's like, something you would see in California or Australia, I'm sure.
Well, the mirrors, there's lots of mirrors in this house, right? The lady who originally owned it was a Zumba.
Oh, really?
So she used to love looking at herself in the mirror.